You were listening to the Mountainside Podcast, and our guest for this episode is my good friend Joel Olbeira. Joel has spent 20 plus years as a production rigger working on some of the world's largest live events, including the Super Bowl halftime, rock concerts at the pyramids in Egypt, NBA championships, and much more. But above all that, not only has Joel had an amazing career, he's got an incredible outlook on life. He's one of my favorite humans to be around. I thoroughly enjoyed our trip to Florida to record with him on location, and I hope you enjoy the episode. All right, there we go, bro. It's been awesome hanging out with you.
Same here, bro. It's always a pleasure, bro.
It's great, dude. I love having you around. Like, it's cool that I'm down in Florida. This is your home state.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Like,
Couple hours from my house, man. Just about 3.5 hours from Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
man,
you
it's cool.
Born and raised in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised there in a place called Little Havana. It's a section over by 8th Street, 12th Avenue, close to downtown. It's populated, with a lot of Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. It's got a little bit of all cultures there.
And your ethnicity, I can't say that word. Ethnicity.
Yeah.
I still can't say that word.
Yeah.
But is it Cuban? Or?
It's Cuban.
Okay.
Cuban. Yeah, parents Cuban. My whole family traced down pretty much is from Cuba.
Really?
I was born in Miami. And yeah, man, it's just really, really fun over there growing up.
Bad bitches and bad sandwiches,
Hot,
man.
Yes. A lot of good food, good seasoning, flavor. Something that we all love, So it's always hard to.
I love that culture, man. Like, Miami's one of my favorite places to go and do a show, or like back when I was road dogging hard, like coming into your arena.
Yeah, I really enjoyed learning this business and getting the opportunity to work there because we got to work so much. I mean, when tours kick off, shows kick off, who doesn't want to come play in the Miami Arena, American Airlines, somewhere in Miami where you have the water in the back and everything just looks like, it makes the show that much more interesting. The crowd is usually pretty hype in Miami when you go to a show. So, yeah, man, it's just really cool. Like, having the opportunity to do shows down there has truly been a blessing. I enjoy every time I get the opportunity to do
And the crew is just solid, right? Like, so you know what you're getting into. Like, if you're a road guy and you're going in there, you know that you're going to have a good day because you got solid-ass people that work their asses off.
Yeah.
Like,
and get a lot of experience because we're turning over shows. I mean,
it's a hot spot.
Yes.
Everybody wants to party,
It's on everyone's itinerary.
The weather's always good.
Yes. Yeah, you get a little rain during the summer. It could rain 3 p.m., out of nowhere. And then 10 minutes later, sun shines back out. Beautiful. But something that takes getting used to is the humidity.
I'm not used to that shit.
You never get used to it. I've been there my life, and I'm still not used to the humidity, man, when it cranks up like that.
Yeah, no, I think I've only worked an outdoor gig there once. We were doing like a beach gig, like on 2nd Street.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. That's a topless beach, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was topless.
We got a couple of those.
Yeah. There was not a whole lot of work getting done when females were walking by us. So, Miami's a different spot for the U.S. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's what's up. So yeah, dude, it's crazy. I've known you for what? Probably at least 5 or 6 years. And
I'd say about 5, 6. Yeah.
And we probably have worked together prior to that and didn't even know it, right?
Correct, for sure. Well, you mentioned you've come through with various shows. And I'm sure I was there because, I've been working there since 1999 when the Miami Arena was up. And then they tore that down. In 2000, American Airlines was built. And I've pretty much done every show there till maybe a bit of like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
When I stopped working there. So, yeah, man, I'm sure we ran into each other and just didn't, because sometimes we're just working, getting things done.
It's the dynamic, right?
It's hit the floor running, you know, so you're kind of focused on your gig. And if you remember someone, we always stop and say hi, but quickly go back to work because there's not, you know what I mean? We stay on top of it.
I think that's a misconception in the rock and roll industry that you're like backstage drinking Jack Daniels and hanging out with chicks. And
If it is,
like,
I miss that.
There ain't none of that going on, bro. Like,
back there, man, it's working together. It's staying safe, communication, and speed. Speed helps. Speed helps because a lot of what we do is on a time frame. We got only so long before we need to turn the stage over to maybe start rehearsals, do certain things. So
some of the most professional unprofessionals you'll ever meet in your life, right? Like
absolutely.
No filter, but like people that are just really good at their job. Man.
Absolutely.
Like, and
a lot of drive.
A lot
of drive, passion. You know, and just getting ready to rock.
We were talking about that the other night, man, over a beer. Is like there is an artistic background to what we do, right? You have to have some sort of passion for creation and seeing the final picture to even get the job done, right?
Yeah.
Like
the vision, you know, of the show you're trying to put together, the details on making it, you know, exceptional. So when the crowd walks in, they get what they want.
The full show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the band's there ready to rock, so we got to do our part. Make sure we put it together nice and clean, and then turn it to them, and they do the rest, man. Make the magic happen.
So you showed me some shit the other night, man. Yeah. It was badass, dude. I've never seen anybody have a championship ring.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Like, so tell me a little bit more about that and like how did you get that? Because I mean, that's not something that the teams are just giving out, right?
Nah.
Like you have to be like part of the staff. You have to be there.
Yeah. So really, how I got the opportunity to have that and to get the opportunity to be in the mix where your company is kind of who purchased it for you. You know what I mean? You got to do 7 years consecutively, be involved in heat. Whether it's spotlights, halftime.
So this is the NBA. Specific rules?
Specifically, yeah. Okay. So once you're kind of like, your company is subcontracted by the building. And so we were operators. We were spotlight operators, let's say, for that. And there for 7 years, doing every game, hanging banners for them, doing dinner parties for them. You know, anytime the Heat needed anything, I was one of the people that were on the court, you know, making things happen for them.
But mainly in the roof, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. For the games, what I did was run spotlight. So we did, you know, an introduction for dancers, doing anthem, halftime shows, things like that.
Hanging some championship banners.
You know what I mean? And then rigging all the championship banners up there. We did a lot. We did a lot of work there. And at the 7-year, the person my boss at that time got a letter saying that a few of his employees have been involved in 7 years or more, and that if he wanted to purchase one of the tier 3 rings, I think is what it is, that he had the opportunity to do so, and man, he was cool enough to do it, you know. And the LD for the Heat, which is a good friend of mine, his name is Simon. He's got like 2 or 3 because he's actually been there for multiple years and got the opportunity to purchase. I think it was 2006, the first one that we won. Okay. Yeah, and then
you were probably in the building for that championship year, right?
Yes,
like
yes. Well, we ran spotlight for all the games. Yeah, so I saw all the Final Fours. I saw all the Heat games, all the battles. You know, I saw the Ray Allen 3-pointer that put us right where we needed to be to win that game. That was electrifying. I'll never forget how loud everyone just got up and screamed when he made that shot. That was pretty cool.
That's incredible. And then to have that piece of jewelry like
that, to me, is just it's a big it's history. It's memory, you know, for me, and not only me, my family. You know what I mean? Like my little girls or whatever. That when they grow up and they ask about it, you know, I got a little story for them and show them, and maybe show them some videos and some basketball games and stuff. And like, you know, your dad was up there doing a little light work, a little something with a bunch of whole other people, man, that really made it happen. So it was cool.
That's awesome, man. Showing me some of the photos of it and stuff. Like,
It was cool.
I'm jealous, bro.
It's a cool piece to have, man. It's
nice,
one of the
man.
great things
It's
that
got
this
your name on
business
it,
have to
right?
offer.
Like they went all out. Like
So it's got all the
like
games.
a team member.
On the inside, it's got a lot of games, Final Fours, scores, and then on the side they'll put your name, what year you started, what year you got the ring, and then and it says Heat Championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool piece, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then being in Miami and being in the business of entertainment, live entertainment, I think a lot of people have a misconception that maybe all we do are concerts and stuff. But you do major sporting events, whatever's in town, right?
Do a lot of
when you're a local guy. So like, how many Super Bowls have you worked on? Because Miami's the hot spot, man. They're there every 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
It's like
quite a few as a stagehand. You know, even back. I think the first one I can't remember what year it was, but it was Prince. Prince did the halftime,
right?
And that
when he played in the rain,
that was incredible. I mean, you know, he started singing the song "Purple Rain," and it just started raining, and it couldn't be any. It was spectacular. Really cool thing. Wild. I remember I was one of the stagehands to help push the stage together, and it was just super cool, you know. And you got a few seconds to really get in your spot and make everything happen. A few minutes then to set everything up before the magic happens.
Like 7 minutes, because I did it a number of years too on the production side, and got to travel to some spots, and it was honestly the highlight of my career was Super Bowl 50 because I'm a Denver fan, right? And so I was cool, there.
Man. Yeah.
And I signed up for everything because you know how they time your credential to like, okay, depending on what job you have, you're only allowed on the field, and there's times on your credential. And I don't know if like back when you were doing it, but I signed up for everything. I was like, I'm going to do the pregame stage, the national anthem, the fucking
as involved as you can be, man. Why not?
Yeah.
I haven't been lucky enough to have a Miami Dolphins Super Bowl because
it's been a minute, right?
It's been a minute. Since
it might
then.
take a minute too.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. So I really lucked out that I got to go when my team was there,
Man,
but I worked on a bunch where my team wasn't there, and it was still cool,
Always.
But like, it's a whole nother level when your team's
It's always
there.
a good group of people, that they put together for those events. Everyone's collectively working together and making a real nice show happen, and it's truly enjoyable to work with the individuals that we get to cross path with. That a lot of them we share stories like me and you, man. We've had conversations where we share like, wow, you went through something like that. Wow, man, I went through something similar, and you just meet all type of different people, and it's really, really cool. It's one of my favorite parts of this job.
It's mine too, and that's the main reason why I wanted to have you on. And
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Dude, I love you as a human. Like,
Same.
I'm always happy to see you, and
same.
I was just like, fuck, I got to share this moment, what I'm doing now.
This is really cool,
with
man.
Joel. So
Podcast
it's like I'm in Florida, and let's go.
Thanks for having me on, man. To me, I was a little nervous when you first asked me.
Really?
Yeah, because I kind of never done anything like just sit there. Yeah. But this is just kicking back and shooting the shit like we used to, like we always do, man.
Yeah.
So
the amount of time that we've spent working, we don't get to share those moments. But there's a ton of downtime where it's just me and you hanging out.
We're always laughing, bro, which is really cool. That makes the time go by.
Yeah, messing with other people, right? Like few pranks here or there,
Hell yeah. So
if you're listening to this and you got pranked by us, you know what's up.
Sorry, man. Get us back. We don't mind. It's all good.
I think that's the biggest reason why I've stayed in this business, because like after a while, the shows, it's kind of like whatever, right? And you're so tired by the time the shows come up. And I've seen some amazing things. I've seen some amazing performances.
Correct.
But the people and the bond that you have and the amount of suck that you go through kind of builds these bonds. And you kind of figure out who's a ride or die, too.
Absolutely.
And it's like, who's got your back? And I feel like our industry kind of weeds those people out.
Oh yeah,
that are not team players. They don't stick around that long, and you kind of
because there's no room for it. Right. The real progress and accomplishments of being on a team is working together, and really
100%.
just bringing the best you can to the table. And days fluctuate. Some days you're better than other days. But doing the best you can every day is important on a team like this because everyone's counting on each other.
And the time frames are crazy. Like that's one thing that's been crazy about this business for me. And I started it right out of high school, like no college, like
Same.
cut my teeth. I didn't go to some art school or something to learn how to do this. It was just like, get in the van and let's go.
Let's go.
Or
No
get
questions.
on the bus. Yeah. Like it was
No
hard.
questions.
The
You want
school
a
of hard
job?
knocks.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What keeps me going too in this business, and I thought about it a little bit. The people are awesome. Everyone that I've come across is just truly awesome. Different places, different jobs. It's similar, but it's always different in a way. Every building comes with different challenges. Every local crew comes with different challenges. Yeah. So, but it's always different. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say I can't, but it'd be pretty hard for me to just work in the same office every day, especially after doing something like this so long.
And we were talking about the money that's
Not
made.
nothing against those that do, much respect and props to anyone who's holding down any job, because that alone is challenging in itself. But I'm just really grateful that my office changes every day in a way. Or every week.
It really does. Yeah.
So that's really cool. Really cool. Different cities, different venues, different crews, different people, different challenges, it's really, really cool. I'll never get bored of it.
It's hard to get bored of it, right?
Only thing that'll make me stop is physical. There comes a time where you can't be as physical as I guess you want to be. And that, I guess at that time, whenever that time comes, I'll know it.
You got a few years.
Yeah. For me, it's like day one every day. It truly is. I enjoy what we do, who we do it for, and the stuff that we do, man. It's just
the
cool.
other stuff, like, I've always enjoyed, like, working with my hands and seeing an end product.
Yes.
And there's no other business to do that any faster than this, especially like a rock tour. Like the amount of shit that you
get some cool shit happening in 2 hours.
Yeah, in 2 hours you can have
some cool shit,
some crazy shit up and running and like moving and just it's incredible. And especially nowadays, as like technology progresses. Like I had such a good time with you the other night, and Vinny when we went out to the bar and we were going to catch the UFC fight, and then
that was awesome.
I realized that Canelo was fighting.
Man.
And
that was exciting. Multiple things happening. Yeah. We got basketball going on. We had the UFC fights. The UFC fights were insane. And everything was awesome because the Canelo fight was awesome too.
But from a production standpoint, like,
wow.
That was crazy.
Never seen anything like that.
That was crazy.
Yes. That was really, really cool. It's just to be able to hang that load, that size of just gear up there, man. Like so much trusting and so much work
floating in
goes
free
into that.
air, pretty much.
In the center of a stadium, man. Like, you know what I mean? You figure there were sky hooks going on in there or something. Like
it's like hanging the moon, man. Like
that was
really
cool.
incredible.
That was
Whether you're a
impressive.
boxing fan or not, if you're listening to this now, like definitely go check out that intro because
check out the intro, check out the fight. The fight is awesome.
The fight was great.
I'm sure it's probably it's got to be on somewhere, just YouTube or something. Like
there's got to be
there.
a way.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Real good fight.
Yeah, that was awesome, good. Man. It was about as Mexican as it comes from being in Guadalajara, man. Like
they had every mariachi in Mexico.
I think
doing their thing in there, man.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It was definitely a good fight. But I guess, man, as much time as we've spent together with all the stuff that's happening around us, like we get to hang out, we get to talk, but it gets interrupted. So like one of the biggest reasons why I enjoy doing podcasting is there's going to be no interruptions during this conversation, right?
That's
and I know little like tidbits about you just over the years, like hanging out and kind of how you grew up and that sort of thing, but I don't know like the whole story. So like if you're comfortable with sharing,
yeah, man, there's nothing not to share. Like it's it's all like, everyone's got their childhood stories, and things that they've been through. I grew up with a single mom, just me and my mom. I had an older brother who wasn't in the picture too much. Cool dude, but I guess he was just into other things, you know what I mean? So it was just really me and my mom. I was kind of like a mama's boy. I still am to this day, man, My mom, and she just really like tried hard, to do too good for two kids, man. It's hard raising two boys, single parent. I can only imagine. But yeah, man, she just really taught me a lot of respect, It was free, it's free to have respect. And at certain times I wanted to buy a lot of things and have a lot of things. And she said, you know what, Joel, the only thing we can afford right now is respect. Giving and receiving and being kind and being grateful for the little we do have. Always think that there is a lot of people around that are a lot less. They're unfortunate. There's other situations going on. No matter how bad your situation is, it's not as bad as you think.
Man, that's such a good saying. I mean, when you told me that, man. You've told me that before, and it really, I mean. Yeah, I can't think of a better way to put it. So your mom's a gangster.
It's
so
just
shout out to moms,
bro. Peace out, bro. To everybody's mom out there, man, doing hard work. To parents, to mom, dads, going through it to make sure that their kids get a good opportunity at life. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but my mom really put me in a position to where I can make my own choices. And I want to say I chose more right than I did wrong, but everybody had their
everybody's got those moments, right?
I kicked rocks a lot of times, man, just fucking around with the boys.
Yeah.
Really up to no good, but I started working when I was like 13, 14, pretty much construction, stuff on the side, cash money. And then man, I was sitting at my boy's house once.
Yeah, so this is kind of where I want to go with it. Is like, how did you get into this? And like,
I'm sitting at my best friend's house one day. He had an older sister who was dating a rigger in the business. So her boyfriend calls over and she's like, "Hey man, why don't you ask your brother if he wants to come work? Because we're down a couple people. We could use somebody." And my boy really wasn't into it. He just was like, "Nah, I'm good." Man, I guess it was like right time, right place for me. And I'm like, man, you know what? Why don't you send me? I'm kind of looking for a new job. Like, I'm looking for something different. Something that probably pays a little better, you know what I mean? And man, it happened. That night, I just left my boy's house. Went and did my first loadout. I can't remember the show it was, but I was kind of nervous, because it's traffic. It's speed. It's fast things happening, And
yeah, your ass can get run over if you're in the wrong spot.
And then you got your department lead, whether you're in audio, video, rigging, lighting, whatever it is that you're at. You got your department lead, and he's kind of asking you for things, asking you for cases, for cables, for things, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck's going on here? And I was a stagehand, but I always loved to work. I was never afraid of work, and work hard, man. I know it pays off. At least it did for me. Till this present day, my hard work has really given me the opportunity to provide for my family, for myself, and just have a little better quality of life.
Yeah, no, I can't stress that enough, man. Like, show up on time.
Yeah.
And be happy to be there.
Yeah, and if you put your name on something, show up.
Right.
It's just so important, man. Like it doesn't matter who offers you what. You put your name on this, show up. You feel that. And then the good opportunities come with that, because a lot of people take something and then swap it up for something else because maybe they're making money over here or making a couple extra dollars over here. And if I put my name on it, I'll be there.
And put in the time too, like learn,
Correct.
Like just open your eyes and try to
don't just try to jump into something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was a stagehand for maybe 2-3 years. And the riggers, upriggers, they were like, "Hey man, they came up to me one day and they're like, bro, look man, we see that you work hard and stuff like that. Are you afraid of heights?" I was always climbing trees.
So were you
roofs.
Did you start with ground rigging?
I started up as an uprigger.
Okay.
Yep.
So you started in the roof.
Straight up.
Nope. Not scared of heights or anything?
Nah, never, because I was always climbing roofs and trees and just doing different things.
Right.
I never really. I had respect for it, which I still do, and
But
always
there was no
will.
pucker factor.
Never,
I mean, the steel
ever. It was
in
challenging
an
because
arena is 100 feet in the air.
yeah. Well, we started at the Miami Arena. It was 60, and we had a 3-foot cap a beam. The beam was just 3 feet wide. No fall protection at that time. I'm talking
Really?
1999, 2000. Yeah, there wasn't any fall protection there.
No
So what we did was we would get GAC Flex, which is what we use to sling trusses and stuff like that. We'd wrap that around the beam, and then we'd have a harness and clip ourselves to that. So you're kind of making your own, your own
There's
safety.
no horizontal lifelines or
not.
anything like that.
Absolutely
Wow.
not. Absolutely not. When we were working at American Airlines, I was fortunate enough to be a part of a team. We installed all that fall protection in that arena, the low steel and the high steel, because there was big shows that would come through, and they would require higher trims. So we would have to rig stuff to the high steel, or just distribute the weight a little bit, because maybe there's too much load on the low steel, so you need to get some up there to distribute loads a little bit. And man, it was challenging getting up there. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's challenging getting up there.
Yeah, that's no joke. I mean, I've done minimal uprigging it, and a lot of times I've always been in kind of I started in this business as a tour manager, so totally on the paperwork side and the bullshit side of the business.
You know what I mean? Making yeah.
And then I fell in, as I progressed with some different artists or bands or whatever, I really realized how much money could be made on the production side, guys that were actually putting the show together. And I really got along with them well, and they were my kind of people because I had always had a construction background and stuff. So I lucked out. I didn't really local crew anywhere. I did for a minute in Denver. When I had some downtime in between tours, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on the local. But with my experience, they kind of put me in a manager's position.
Yeah, you got great hustle, Bobby, man. You do your thing, bro. You rock hard. You're an example and an inspiration for me. Every time I see you at work, absolutely, 100%, man.
All right, this show's not about building me up or about me. It's about you.
It's about the truth, man. About who we are and what we do, man. And it's always a pleasure working with you. You got a good attitude, good approach, and you got a great head on your shoulders, bro. You're badass at work. I work with you anywhere, anytime, man. That's 100%.
Hey, it goes both ways, man.
Hell yeah.
And that means a lot coming from you, man.
Real shit, man.
I hear it from some other people occasionally, and don't mean as much. That means a lot coming from you, man.
Big
so
dog.
I appreciate it, and the feeling is mutual, man.
100%.
Yeah, I love working with you. I know when you're there, I know somebody's got my back. I know
100%.
shit's gonna be safe.
Yeah.
Because I want to dive into rigging a little bit more too for people that don't understand, because we've been in the business for 20 years, right?
Right.
And so we know all the slang term, what a gag flex is, what a shackle is, and you can look this stuff up, and it is legitimate things, right? This isn't just some bullshit.
I mean, a lot of it is comes from construction, from sailing, from that type of rigging, which is a very, very old trade. I think it's one of the first, man, I'm not sure.
How to hang stuff,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Hey, man, wow, the Egyptians were rigging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, man.
So you started there locally, and then you were there for a minute, right? 20 some years, right? You put in your time, and I'm sure all
20
kinds of
years being involved in that local, but I'm traveling a lot. I got the opportunity to work for a company, Stageco, which does a lot of outdoor steel builds, the big stuff. Big rock
Rolling
and roll.
Stones, U2,
AC/DC, man. We did a lot of stuff. I'm go back to Paul McCartney, Bon Jovi.
Damn.
Yeah, I did some old school stuff with them. Working with them it was so awesome. So I'd never really worked with Stageco US. I worked a lot with the Belgians. So that's where the company is originally from. It's established in Belgium. And these guys are monsters, man. When it comes to working and building steel, these guys are monsters. So
these might be the baddest dudes in the business,
I agree.
in my opinion.
I agree.
I was always
these guys
easy with those guys, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like,
these guys are working underwater, man.
Yeah.
Building stage, water hip high.
That's crazy, yeah.
really, really getting down. It's a lot of work. It's dangerous. There's a lot of crane
huge
work.
pieces.
Big
Yeah.
pieces, time consuming. But you get built up. That builds character. I want to say, we're working with teams that are go 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 go, and those guys they're go, man. Go.
Yeah, they're definitely nonstop.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy. It shows your loyalty, right? Because in this business, you can jump from job to job to job to
I agree.
manager
There's a lot of
to
them
manager
that
to manager, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's something said for me personally about being loyal, and the people that I work with now, it's like it's your team, right?
Yeah,
so
growing
like,
up, that's one
right?
of the most important things you learn.
Yeah,
at least in my neighborhood, man.
Yeah,
it's
mine
loyalty.
Too. Yeah, loyalty and family and that sort of thing. So there's kind of like that.
I really enjoyed
common
working
bond.
for this company as long as I did. I was lucky that, man, there was just a bunch of badass dudes on it.
But there was probably so many opportunities that came up prior to that, right? Like where you could have went out and done something different or been the lead rigger on a tour or something.
Correct.
Right? And then,
Correct. A lot of that stuff got shot down sometimes, because in this business, when it comes to moving around, if you're not kind of how do I put this, man? They don't really like for you to move around too much. Let's say if you're a heavy hitter on a local team, that team doesn't like to lose you.
When they call you the next time,
you know what I mean?
They're calling you for a reason, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so I put a lot of work just focused in a couple buildings back home, and turned down a lot of opportunities that but I don't regret any of it. I'm glad I started touring when I did. I'm glad I worked for who I did. Everything that I've done in this business and in my life, man, has got me sitting here in front of you today. Yeah, so to me, that's fucking cool. You know what I mean? I enjoyed every bit of it. The good gigs, the not so good gigs, the challenging, the not so challenging, and everyone that I've worked for and with. It's been awesome, bro. It's been awesome. Thanks to everyone who helped me understand. Thanks to those guys that and girls that stopped and gave me some game and said, "Oh, you don't know what this is? This is what it is. This is what you do it. This is how you use it." And I crossed a lot of good people along the way, man. And
mentors are definitely key in this business, and I think that's why loyalty is important, right? Like if somebody shows you something, it's because they want you to be part of their team 100%. Or whatever it is, right? And
and they see that you're worth their time. Hey man, look, this kid's trying to do something with himself. Let me give him some of my time, some of my knowledge, and those guys changed my life, man. Working with those guys,
that's crazy.
It was a good bunch. It's a great crew to be with. Every tour that came through there was happy to be in our arena. They knew that we were going to take care of the show. They knew we were going to do it not only fast but safe, and that man, they were going to have a nice day.
I never had any complaints in there, man.
Yeah.
Like Frankie the Steward used to crack me up, man. This guy was like a beach body.
He's a great guy, man.
He's an incredible human.
Good example, he's
biggest biceps I've ever seen.
Hard-working guy too, man. Nonstop, and good attitude, takes care of the crew. It's just great crew, man. Good guys.
This reminds me of something too. It's kind of funny because it's a small community because you get to know all these people.
Yeah.
Even just spending a day with them or 24 hours or 18 hours or however long you're in the building. But then you're going to see them again in 6 months when you're on the next tour or when that tour comes back or whatever. And then over the years, you start to see people's faces and get to know people. You
develop friendships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are happy to come through. You're happy. You're oh my God, it's you, man. Oh, that's awesome, bro. Good to see you again. Yeah.
You start to figure out, like, how's the family? Who's the kids?
The chemistry also that you start to develop from working with these crews and tours and people, and you start to learn in the way they do things and just how to gel and make it better, make it faster.
and how to communicate with people, right? Like in a
Oh,
genuine way.
you got to have that skill in this business, man.
Yeah.
Because you run into different characters every day. You know, you got to treat people different. You can't treat everyone the same. You know, someone might not get offended, some might get offended. So it's adjustment. You know, it's kind of like a chameleon out here, man.
Yeah.
You got to be a chameleon in this business.
Yeah. You got to definitely
Adapt.
figure people out and what they're cool with and what they're not, because there's a lot of heat.
Correct.
There used
on
to
my
be
team, you know, I was lead rigger there, and then my boys, you know, there's those hard times, you know, when the boys get like, you know, they're pissed and shit like that, and you just gotta know how to address them differently, because the way you talk to this guy is not the way you talk to this guy, and the way you talk to that guy is not the way. So it's just everyone is.
Would you say that this industry is really where you developed leadership skills? Because
100%.
I think for me,
well, I developed leadership in my home, you know, in my house, you know, and I want to say that because I had to take control at an early age.
So when you were young,
You know what I mean? I had
growing
to
up
take
with a single
control,
mom.
and I had to lead, not anyone, but lead myself to making good choices and doing the right thing. So I think that's already kind of like a leader mentality. You know, I wasn't really the follower in my neighborhood. You know, if my boys wanted to do something and I wanted to do something different, it was always real easy for me to break away and just do my own thing. 'Cause I led my own way. Like, you know what I mean? That's not what I want to do. I'd rather do this.
Yeah, I grew up very similar, man. So it's like it was very easy for me.
You couldn't peer pressure me. You couldn't push me into doing anything. It was just, I wasn't that guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to me,
Which can
that's
save your
already,
life in our business,
it sure
man,
did.
because you can have people push you in the wrong direction or have you do
Absolutely.
something that could be dangerous. And
Absolutely. Or just start to following things that aren't really going to be positive in your life. You know, that's not really going to get you anywhere. And it's not going to get you better opportunities. So you got to kind of make the good choice, man. And I think that's being a leader.
100%. Yeah, I think you're right on that. It's kind of ironic how similar my background and your background is, and a lot of guys in this business, man.
Absolutely.
It's wild, you know. It's like
we relate in a lot of different ways.
A lot of guys that I know that I really get along with in this business and are really good at their jobs come from backgrounds that were not so easy and not
100%.
You know, it depends on what you call easy, right? Like we were talking about this the other day. I have some friends of mine that have lost limbs in war, like serving
so much
country
respect to
and
those
stuff.
guys, man.
Dude,
what
so
an inspiration just to like see that. Like what the fuck am I gonna complain about? You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me, man? It's just there's it could always be worse, man.
Yeah.
You know, so you really just gotta just go through it.
I really appreciate that, and I've that's something I've learned in my older age is being able to take that perspective. I think is so important.
Oh.
It is so important, like to whenever I start feeling sorry for myself or like this sucks or whatever, all I have to do is go,
bro,
remember this conversation that I had or meeting this person or go to their Instagram page and seeing that. And like, you know, I hope I'm not getting too personal, but you brought up your girl today works with kids that have terminal illnesses, right? And it's like,
that's in her heart is all she loves to do. How can you
come home and complain about like
can't not?
Yeah,
you know, sometimes she gives me these. She sends me pictures or like stories or something, or not shares a story with me or something, man, and it's heartbreaking, you know, to know that some of these little like angels are just walking around with little chance, you know, of even of doing just throwing a football or like just having or running or you know something that I'm not gonna say we take for granted, you know, but that maybe we don't pay so much attention. Yeah, maybe you just don't pay so much attention to being like, wow, dude, I have to be so happy just the fact that I'm able to like just like move fluently.
Right.
You know, got all my toes, got all my legs, my arms, my limbs.
I'm actually healthy. Like, I can do what I can do.
You know,
like,
instead of just wasting time complaining about, oh, whatever, this didn't go the way I wanted it to, or
Right.
I mean, it's human.
Which is a stigma
It's
in
fun.
our business,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because guys complain about the hotel. Or,
Yeah.
I was doing it when I walked in here. I was like, yo, this place
Correct.
sucks. So, you know,
No,
but like,
why not? You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck is this, bro? So, yeah, but when you really, really get down and out, you know, just give thanks for what you got.
And, it really helps me keep not getting down and out, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's inspiring to see somebody like that. And so going back to the military and first responders, man, like, big shout out. Like, people like your wife, because we need those people so bad. Yeah. And it's something that I don't think I could do. I could maybe do military or law enforcement or something, but that's a whole nother level of just like, we have a mutual friend that we went to dinner with the other night, and his wife's NYPD and about to retire, like 30 some years.
Oh, man.
NYPD
Service.
through 9/11, everything, right? It's like, yeah, that's a big sacrifice, man. Like that is, so yeah, my hat goes off to those people too.
Same.
And that's cool because that's something with our industry. We get to meet some of those people too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the operators and stuff that I know come from shows that I've done, they're personal protection, or like, I don't know how many city police officers that I've chopped it up with hanging out at the arena, because there's nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Like
paramedic, first responder, whatever. There's always a good amount of people that are servicing around us, and it's awesome, man, to run into them and learn the way they do things, and just shoot the shit with them, bro.
Yeah, and be able to have that perspective, or be able to visualize that perspective of just like, hey, maybe what I got going on isn't so bad, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, damn, that totally broke my train of thought. We were just talking about being humble. So going back to your career, dude, like, now that I know a little bit about your background, that's super awesome, man. That's why I love doing this, because I love learning about people and hearing their stories. Like, I want to do a deep dive on some of the places you've been and some of the shit that you've done, man, because I have so many stories that you can't even, like, sometimes I forget where I've been and what I've done.
Yeah, because we move so
mean?
much, man. Especially when you're on tours and stuff. I find myself sometimes, I don't even know what city I'm in.
But I always remember,
like, holy shit, where exactly are we?
When you have to Sharpie on your hotel room keys,
where are we?
When you're on a tour or something, or like, sometimes you don't even see the city,
you're on
right?
go mode, man.
Because you're so busy, right?
You're on
Working.
go mode.
Yeah. But like the highlights of your carear, man, like, because I know there's I have a bucket list, right? Like, and you've been in this
cool
just
stuff
as long as I have, but like, I want to hear about like a gig that I would have gladly gone on with you. Is you got to do a gig at the pyramids of cool, Egypt with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, what the...
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man.
That's amazing, man.
So I was doing the Australian leg with Red Hot Chili Peppers. And on the itinerary was Egypt, and I didn't really know where we were going to be when we went there. There's not too many venues in Egypt where you go and you play shows at. Not that I've heard of, you know what I mean?
So was this what you were out with Stageco, or were you building like a stadium
rig?
No,
it was production rigging.
Oh, okay.
That's production rigging.
That's
for
awesome.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers, yeah. I do a little bit of Peppers and also Florence The Machine.
Okay.
A good buddy of mine, Gabe Woods, top worker, really dedicated rigger.
He's a G.
Oh man, yeah. Super cool guy. Where he's given me great opportunities.
That's awesome.
And that was one of them, man. He put me on that really cool tour. We went to a bunch of great places. Tasmania was awesome too, man. We played.
Really,
in
you got to do a show in Tasmania?
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Wow.
In Egypt, we were 200 feet away from the pyramids. And we put this steel structure together in a pyramid shape, and in the background, the backdrop was the Egyptian pyramids. And man, that was sick. Yeah, I'll never forget, dude. Security was on camels. Like we had securities in the far taking care of the the area that we were in. And they were on camels, man, with RPGs and
really
full auto AK-47s, bro. Like, that was our security over there.
That's insane.
That was
so tell me,
cool.
So like getting over there, because I've never done a gig in Egypt. I've been all over the world, right? And I've been in some crazy spots. But that, to me, that's like, if you're going to one of the 7 wonders of the world, right? Like, and for me, it is the wonder of the world.
Yeah.
Like, that's the cool thing about some of those bands that really get it, right? Like,
Red Hot
some
Chili
of those
Peppers
bands
is one
that
of them,
really
man.
get it. They're like, you know, it would be awesome if we did a gig at the fucking pyramids.
What was
right?
really
like,
awesome was that, I mean, they did it because they rock, you know, and they want to be there.
Incredible.
But well, my understanding is that what they really went there for is to show the world that you could do shows there. And the reason why is because that offers an opportunity to these guys to provide for themselves.
That employs we're bringing so many people, man.
They're bringing jobs over there, you know. So that's something that they really wanted to kind of put on the map, you know, to maybe some time down the line, Egypt will be on everyone's itinerary. Maybe not, you know, depending on the way governments are and get along. I don't really get into that stuff, but that was my understanding on why we went there to play a show.
And it's wild, like...
They want to bring jobs over there. That's really cool, man.
That is really cool, man. Shout out to those guys.
Humanitarian stuff going on right there.
I've worked for them a couple times, and I don't have any bad things to say about any of those guys, and they're incredible musicians, man. Like,
yeah, those guys rock. Their crowd loves them. They give them what they want, the energy, everything, man. They're just top notch band.
Yeah,
Flea's a G, bro.
It might be one of the only times I was actually starstruck. Like, I don't get starstruck very often, but I was rolling down the hallway, and the first time I ran into, you know, like going in between catering, like Bust a Vom, and then you're headed, you know, towards the dressing room.
Super cool story, bro, on the Chili Peppers, right? We're, can't remember where we were. I want to say maybe Sydney, you know, and the Chili Peppers pull up. The show's set up. They're coming in for rehearsals, and Chad pulls up in his motorcycle, and he parks it outside. He didn't really come into the loading dock or whatever. He just parked it outside. He comes in. They're going, well, he passes me. And as he's passing me, it starts raining outside, man. And I'm like, and so he looks around, whatever, and then he looks at me. He's like, hey, man, you got motorcycle license endorsement? And I'm like, who's this guy talking to me? Like, what the fuck? This Chad's asking me if I have a motorcycle license, bro. And I'm like, you know what? I do. I have my motorcycle endorsement. Dude, he tosses me the key to his bike, and he's like, man, bring my bike in. Wow, that was so rad. You know what I mean? So I go to this bike, man. I got the key, and I'm trying to find where to put the key in, you know? And I'm looking at the bike, bro. I'm just looking around. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm looking stupid right now, bro. I got Chad's keys, and I can't even start this bike. So the stage manager comes up, and he's like, bro, it's a key fob. Like, you don't really have to put that key in.
Oh,
anywhere.
like one of the newer Harleys or something.
You just put it in your pocket, bro. You know what I mean? You just press that clutch and hit that start button.
Yeah, my old shit, you got a Kickstarter or whatever.
So, bro, I got to pull in Chad's bike, man, into the building. You know, he just tosses me the key like that. So, like, that was pretty cool. I've throughout this industry, like, I learned really fast that, you know, I'm not there for the artist, you know, so I don't really get into like asking for anything, you know, it's just I'm there for my job. That's what I'm there for. But that was really cool to interact with Chad and just have him, you know, like, hey, bro, what's up? What's going on, man? Shoot shit, you know, and then get my bike in here, bro. Get my keys. That was really, really cool. Other than that, I just like heads in the game, right? You know, like I'm just here to build a show. Plenty times we cross paths with artists and everything, and we're just there to do a job, you know.
A lot of times for your gig or the side of the industry that you fell into, like your little moment to get some rest is when the show's going on.
100%,
right?
Yeah, that's your time to go out to the bus and catch a nap.
Yeah,
and a lot of the tours I did, I didn't take a nap. What I did was I always took camera operations.
Yeah,
so
make a little
as a
extra
production
coin.
rigger,
Yeah.
sometimes you get first dibs when you're on tour. You know, and they ask, hey, man, you want to run a camera for the show for some extra money? And, dude, so that was awesome, man. I'd do my load in, be done in a couple hours. I could still get to chill in the bus a little bit. And for the show, I would come out.
There's no better place to watch a show.
Yeah, run a little cam, you know what I mean? I got that through having experience running the spotlight. It's just different buttons.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to get that little shot to make some extra bucks, you know. And
that's awesome.
Get full productivity of that time.
So going back to doing this gig in Egypt, so were you on tour or was this like a one-off on the tour?
Tour.
Or something? Okay.
Yeah, it was tour. We were all through Australia. We went to New Zealand, and then we did Tasmania, and the last place we touched was Egypt.
Wow.
Yeah, Cairo.
So what is it like rolling into Cairo? Because I've rolled into like some third world countries.
It's weird.
Like
it's different. I'll tell you what you don't want to do is roll in there with your wife, man, because they don't got no respect for women over there. I'm not sure that's ever going to change.
Yeah.
So not somewhere that I would take my family. You know, with all
there's some
respect
Middle
to
Eastern
Egyptians and
countries that are
man,
like that too. It's
tough. You know, not how we get down.
right.
So if you're not married, you're not even allowed to stay in the same room. You know, your wife's got to get your wife, your friend has to get her own room, and you get your own room.
Right. There's some countries where you can get arrested for having premarital sex.
No. Well, and rolling in, we had a badass like security German team. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
No, bro. Like these dudes were like rocks, like just solid muscle moving machines with fully automatic weapons under these coats. It was intimidating, brother.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's how I've gotten to know a lot of like special operations guys and stuff.
Man, we were moving in vans. We stayed in an all-inclusive resort. Everyone was told to stay in the resort. You know, anything you needed, food, drinks, music, nightlife was in there. And every time we went to the gig and back, we had escorts with us, you know, fully trained, high-level security.
Were they good dudes? Were they
super cool dudes? There was no talk, pretty much.
Right.
There really wasn't talk. You know, we saw those guys for maybe 40 minutes a day, and it was a 20-minute drive there and a 20-minute drive back. And it was quick. There was a lobby call. They showed up. You got in, multiple cars, get in the van, get to where you're going.
And those guys are operating. Yeah.
Yes.
So their head's on a swivel.
100%. So they're not really, you know.
It's next level when you roll with security like that, right? Because
I'm not sure
been out with some
that's
security.
ever happened anywhere else. I think it was just there.
Yeah.
For me, you know, for my experience in the business, it was Egypt that we had that strong. Because, man, other than that, we've been around the world. And never had anyone escort me like that with fucking fully automatic weapons under their coats, bro. Like, it's just like
that's
that.
when you know you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, it's like that, bro.
And it's kind of like, damn, did I sign up for this? Because I'm getting the same paycheck.
I'm so happy to be there, though.
I bet.
Oh, so happy, man. I couldn't believe it. I still, you know, to this day, like, was I really part of a team that put a show together in Cairo? Like,
in front of the pyramids.
Feet away, like, man, 100 feet away from them. Like, they were.
So did you guys get to experience any Egypt? Like, was it like...
We didn't go out.
Okay.
You know, we were there for, I want to say, maybe 6 days, 7 days, maybe a week, you know, a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't really go out.
Did you get to go tour the pyramids or anything like that?
That we took off, you know, on our break. And then downtime, you know, kind of when the stage is built and just kind of, you know, doing your focusing, your rehearsals or whatever. You know, that's kind of like our downtime to go explore where we're at, programming. You know, the guys doing programming.
The nerds.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Hey,
man,
no offense to those
cheers
guys.
to those guys,
we need
bro.
those guys
yeah,
too.
100%. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Keep us employed.
That's awesome.
And, yeah, man. So it was a good time there.
You'll have to. I think I've seen some of your photos from that. I think you showed me one
Got some
time
cool
when we were
pics.
just chilling backstage, killing some time. So if you
Man,
can find
maybe
some
I
of
could like
those,
give you some, and you could like maybe just post them up or something.
yeah,
Like as
send
part
them.
of
We'll put them over the video or something.
That'd be super
and
cool.
That'd be super rad, man. Because
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
sure everybody would like to see that. There's some pretty badass photos of the stage, like in front of it, and you working, and
That's cool, man.
and some of that stuff. So
thanks to everyone that made that possible, and just, man, thanks for the opportunity.
That's awesome.
Thanks for having me on the team. That was epic. I mean, thanks to every team that had me on the
You're
team.
such a humble dude, man. This
Bro,
is why
man,
I love you, man.
It's
just
what
fucking
makes,
good people.
It's just so fucking lucky. I feel like I know I've worked
you've worked
for my
it,
shot.
for sure.
Or at least I'd like to believe that people give me an opportunity because they could believe in me. I could do the job. But yeah, man, it's just thanks. Thank you. That's guys.
Incredible.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So, Red Hot Chili Peppers. What's some of the other? You've worked with a bunch of people, man. Like the list could go on and on.
Coolest tour that I mean, no, I can't say the coolest. They're all fucking all dope. And they're all cool in their own way. But
some aren't.
U2, U2 360.
Okay,
that was a badass tour.
Jake Berry.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Stagecoach. You know what I mean? Building this massive spider stage. They had 4 of these stages.
Is that when it was in the round in the stadium?
It's the
and
claw.
Wow.
It's a massive claw, and like one would be playing, one would be getting dismantled, one would be traveling, and it was just simultaneously.
Just
just to make sure that the artist, Bono and his team kept moving. Like we crushed so many cities around the world, man. That was badass. And working with these Belgians, bro, was just so cool.
So some of those Belgians don't speak
and
English,
and I say Belgians,
right?
but on that team, there was Portuguese, we had Russians, we had Belgians, we had Americans.
Yeah,
it was a fucking dream team, bro.
That's what's kind of wild about this business is there's so many different cultures that are in it, and you get to experience so many different cultures, and you have to work with people from that local
now
culture,
that you say that, man,
it's
language barrier sometimes, and you work with everyone who's from a different, place, and it's just like, luckily a lot of them know English, man, because I don't know their language, so how the fuck am I going to communicate, so I would always give them props for that, like, thanks for learning our language, so at least we can communicate, bro, because you're Portuguese, you're Belgium, you're Dutch, and you're Russian, and how the fuck do I talk to you guys?
Yeah, and it's crazy. You start using like primitive sign language and just share like, yo, that goes
eye
over
contact,
there.
man. Like, yo, are you fucking ready? 'Cause I'm ready, bro. Let's go. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I used in Egypt, bro. Was eye contact. Man, I was building so we're building a sound scaff tower. Off of like, I don't even know what the fuck it was. It wasn't scaff, bro. I don't know if it was bamboo sticks. I don't know what we used. But dude, this sandstorm rushes in, and I'm up there with like 2-3 locals, and we all have our heads wrapped and everything. This is like sandblast in your face, bro. Oh. And these guys are looking at me like we're going down. And I'm like, man, we just got a couple hours left to get this up. Please don't go down. And dude, it was just like an eye contact thing. Like they looked at me like, all right, you're going to stay. I'm going to stay. But we're fucked here. All right. Just so you know. Just so you know. You're not from around here. Yeah. I'm a fucking local. We're in a bad spot. Right. And man, they stayed with me and got the job done. And it was just so cool, bro. Much props to everyone that worked for us, man. From That's that incredible. Local crew.
Yeah, and I think experiencing those cultures, like some of the food and making some of these like friendships with somebody for a day, right? And embracing
you really
their culture a little bit.
In a day when you do this, man.
Oh, totally.
Like these locals that we work with, bro, I got mad respect, you know what I mean, for all of them, you know, and truly appreciate them showing up. Because without them, dude, we can't really do this, you know what I mean?
No, it's not definitely a collective effort.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're there to give them the information, you know, to make sure that they do it as safe as possible, to keep them out of harm's way, to build these shows for these artists so that way they can do what they do. And man, these guys show up and they're ready for us in every city, and it's just a blessing to have them, man.
And it's cool because you get immersed a little bit in their culture. Is
Hell
kind of where
yeah.
I was going with that. Like,
Hell yeah.
when you're in Verona, Italy, right? Like, and dudes are showing up to push road cases around in 3-piece suits and dress shoes and shit. You're like, this is how they come to work, bro. Like,
it is.
But they work their asses off. They're sweating
Absolutely.
their asses off in these 3-piece suits, you know? It's like, they're not really put together all that well, you know? They're not like perfectly tailored or whatever, you know? It's not like you're going down to Wall Street. These dudes, like, there's sweat stains on these suits. They're a little dirty, you know? But, like, it's pretty cool. And then just learning some of the different languages. Like, I know some Portuguese now.
Right on.
It's all from touring. And
I know how to say thank you in a couple, maybe like 2-3 different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't, like, if I hear it, I kind of, you know.
I learned all the bad stuff.
I always wanted to learn please and thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of like bitte schön, you know, danke schön.
Yeah.
These are kind of like, there's it's just please and thank you. And it was because.
Origato.
Yeah, when they see that, they're like, at least he's making an effort. You know what I mean? This guy is not, maybe he's not a douchebag. You know what I mean? He's here, he fucking gets it. And you're in their house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why obligate them to speak your language, bro? Like,
and I always tried to pick out the cool guy, right? Because there's always a cool guy in the group, right?
Bro.
There's always
the
a
alpha,
jokester.
man. You know what I mean?
And I'm
he
like,
leads the rest of the team.
I would go grab an interpreter or whatever, and I was like, I wanted to know the slang, right? So that's where I picked up No Machingas. That's where I picked up Toto Bane, you know, like all these in each country. So you had, like, you know. So you could walk in, and you say that first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And
hey,
you
man,
got people, you got instant friends.
You got to
know?
smile.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Super
and having
cool.
a good time, right? Because if you're a miserable fuck all day and you're working 18 hours, like, nobody wants to work with
Absolutely
you.
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Good attitude, man. It gets you far. Not in
really
this business and anywhere, man. A smile. You know what I mean?
Takes you a long way,
smile, bro.
I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what got me this Gucci hotel room we're sitting in, right?
Hell yeah.
This was an upgrade.
Smile, Bobby.
God damn. So, U2, what's some other?
I mean, a lot of rock and roll bands. Did a lot of cool stuff with AC/DC. Through Brazil,
that's awesome.
Argentina.
Were you on the tour where they had like that big ass train on the stage?
100%, man. With the big hat and the red horns.
That
badass. So we're doing that, and we're in Argentina. The show's built, and we're pulling up. It's show day, and we're looking outside of the stadium. My brother, there is thousands of people out there ready to rock and roll. When you go to some of these places, man, I'm not sure that anyone even had shoes on, because they knew that they were coming out their shoes. You know,
so you just don't show up with them, right?
Just don't show up. It's just like they're just ready to really have a great time, let loose, and just rock. You know, so they're climbing light poles. These dudes are 50, 60 feet in the air, swinging T-shirts. And what I thought was the funniest is no one's even telling them to get down.
That's where they did like the big DVD shoot, right? Like, it's on YouTube. You can go and watch it, and it is. Honestly, from a production standpoint, like, that stage was amazing. To have a big ass train,
sick, bro.
And they weren't young during this,
Absolutely
right? Like,
not.
this was.
It's like, but on stage,
they were incredible.
They're
man.
20 years old.
Such an incredible show.
Off stage, they walk with a limp. On stage, man, they just get like this energy, you know, and they feed off the crowd, and their crowd has energy. You go to an AC/DC rock show in Argentina, you're fucking rocking.
Me? You're right. The devil's there.
Yeah. Like,
sure.
you can in the States, they rock, they party, but I think there's
there's like that soccer mentality where, like, they take it to the next level.
Next level shit, bro.
I think there's something where countries where, like, football or soccer is just really big.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget being in Hamburg, Germany, and there was this one spot when you had a day off after touring for 10 years. This is where you went to blow off some steam, right? If you had a day off, it was like this one stretch, and I forget the name of the street or the village or the district or whatever it was. But you would always go down there, and it was bar row, right? It was just bar after bar, and just Germans having a good time, and like, you know, the Hofbrauhaus, and just like big steins of beer.
Good
and
beer,
like,
man.
It was always a good time. Like, they know how to party, right? But I went down there one time, and there was like a riot broke out, bro. It was just like every window in the bar was busted out. There was bottles in the streets, there was chairs, there was blood, and I was like, whoa. I asked like one of the locals, I'm like, what's up? They're like, there's a soccer game tonight, or there's a football game. And
dude, those hooligans don't play that shit, bro. Dude, they meet each other in the street, man, and go at it, bro. That's hardcore shit over there, man.
And then some of the bands that I've went to, like when I was out with the Killers.
Yeah. Oh, cool band, man.
They set attendance records in Mexico City.
Sick.
Like huge, like
super sick.
Huge stadium. We didn't do that in the States with them, right? Like they would sell out American Airlines or something like that, but like
we can't fit what they could fit in those soccer stadiums, dude. That's
you saw the
Canela,
the Canela fight. I'm screwing that up. That fight was 55,000 people, and they are, packed, right? All the way up to the ring.
Standing crowd, man.
Yeah. I think they even sold some seats like in the ring before, and then those people had to leave for the fight because like that, I've never seen so many people in a boxing ring. Like, it's next level, and they don't adhere to like the fire marshal codes. And
absolutely
shit
not. Not there,
like,
bro.
It's like, how many people can we get in here?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've seen them in Mexico City was one of them, and then a couple spots in Africa where they like weld the barricade together and they have to cut it apart.
Wow.
At the end of the show. So I'm sure they had to in Argentina for that show because
they have to have
a rock band like AC/DC, like
come on. What, man? They rock, but there's something about like, they just know. I don't know. They just get it. You know what I mean?
I think it's
they
just
get
that
it. That's
old
what
culture.
They do. Yeah, like,
and there's not a lot of diversity. Like I feel like America, although we say it's not diverse and like we're split up and segregated and all that stuff. This is a melting pot, dude. Like, there's people from all over the world right here, right?
Absolutely.
So I think when you grow up in a culture like there's a sense of pride. Like there's Americans that are super proud about being Irish or Cubano, or Native American or whatever it is, but there's not like 100,000 of them in one spot, right? Like. Some of these other spots, like you go to Chile or Brazil or something like that, those people show up, right?
Yeah, they show up, bro. They're ready to rock. Over here, I think it's just like it's not that level of energy.
We're really not that old. Like that's a cultural party, right? Like when you see, if you're in Brazil or something and like there's dudes doing capoeira and shit, just like that goes thousands of years ago, right? Like,
that's cool, man.
And our thing's kind of like beer and NASCAR or some shit, right? Like it's not that cool, like to me, anyways. But there's some American cultures. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love where we live, and I'm super proud to be an American. Grateful. But like, you get your balls busted a little bit too. Like some of the English guys that I've been on tour with or whatever, and they're like, Americans aren't really loved all over the world, like we think we are, right? But when they start telling you like, yo, we got park benches older than your country, it's like, come on, bro. Like, so
bro,
it puts it in perspective. You get over to some of those spots, and like to be in Germany and see some of those churches.
So it's beautiful, man. Their architecture there is amazing.
It's crazy, right? And they date back to like the 1300s or something like that, or some of those castles in like Edinburgh.
That's amazing, Scotland, man, that we get to travel like that with work. You know what I mean?
It's so cool.
Just so cool, bro. Like seeing all these places, and then not only seeing them, but you're kind of getting paid to do so. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people that are probably millionaires that can't see the places that we've seen or that people get the opportunity to because they're always working. And then our job is traveling.
Yeah.
So it gives you the opportunities to go check out all these places. Sometimes you get a day off here and there.
And some of the perks that come along with that, like going to Verona specifically, like the arena, right? It was the very first arena in the world.
Holy crap! How cool!
Right?
Never made it.
Have
there,
you done
man.
a gig there?
Nah.
Oh,
That sounds
yeah.
epic, bro.
Well, I would go and visit there even if I wasn't doing a show, right? But that's why every other basketball arena, everything is called an arena, right?
Wow.
And I don't think it was. I don't know if it's older than the Coliseum or not. I don't have somebody here to fact check,
man.
but it's from that era, right? Like Roman gladiators, and you go down like in the basement, and the original bathrooms are there, and they're just like these pits with right, and then you go another layer deeper if you get like the tour from like the venue guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's historic and all that sort of stuff, but you go down, there's fucking lion cages and
Holy shit, bro.
jail cells, and like you just think about like everything that happened right where you're doing that show, and like you know what we've seen in Hollywood,
there,
like the dude coming out and rubbing his hands in the dirt, you know, from Gladiator, and
like that shit really happened there.
it happened, and you can like feel it. Like almost like it's haunted, but I don't know that I believe in the paranormal. But
the history is so strong, you know what I mean? Like you probably
you
feel
think
it,
about
man.
all the blood that ran in the streets there, and like just that kind of like
that's cool, bro.
It's pretty wild. And then the people there know it too, so they have their little traditions that they do there. It's the only place I've ever seen you know how like. And this is dating myself a little bit, but like lighting has come a long ways. Now there's like robotic lights and all this shit, right? But like back in the day, it used to just be like they have these audience blinder lights, right? So they would like, especially in rock and roll, right? Like these roll fades or whatever, and they'll blind the crowd. Well, these people got so crazy that they all have come in unison. It's like a thing. You bring a piece of aluminum foil with you.
Oh, wow.
So when they throw those on,
you throw it back.
You throw it back.
That's so cool, bro.
It turns into a big ass fucking light, right? Because you're basically like in a bowl. Like it might as well be a giant head. I'm sure you can see it from space, bro. Like it's next level. But
that's cool, bro.
So that's kind of cool, like being there and seeing that, and then. You know, being in some of these spots where people don't get to go a lot, right? Like to go into the Heat locker room or something like that and take a shower.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, or whatever it is.
You get to see some cool spots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Those are kind of some of the perks, you know, stuff like that. Like,
oh, yeah, man.
I'm not going to mention what I've done to some Zambonis in some other spots or some rival Denver teams, you know, but you might find a little something here or there.
A little gift.
Yeah.
Left you a gift.
Yeah. At least a Bronco sticker or something, you know. When you're rolling into Raiders into Oakland or something like that, you know, you gotta represent. Yeah, but man. So I guess you know, going to all these places and being on some of these tours and stuff like that, what have you been able to take away from, like, if somebody was aspiring to do your job, like, what kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, be dedicated. Mm-hmm. You know, be dedicated. Work hard, man. You know, make sure when you put your name, you show up. You know, make sure you understand what a team is. That'll really help you. How to work together. You know, how to listen to each other, and how to be open to making adjustments, to making things work better.
To improvise on the fly, right?
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, safety. You know, just safety is always first. Always keep that in mind. Make sure everybody gets home the way they got there. That's important. I've witnessed not some bad stuff, but you know.
Have you ever witnessed the death?
No, absolutely not, man.
Have you ever had any friends?
So grateful for that. Yeah, because I've seen just broken bones. You know, a couple toes, arms, broken finger, stuff like that. You know, we deal with a lot of heavy machinery. We push around heavy boxes. Toes,
some of these stages
feet.
that they roll are hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Correct.
And, like,
And the army that's pushing it, you know, can you imagine all the force that's behind that stage when you got 50 guys pushing it, 75 guys pushing it,
right.
and that runs over your foot, you're probably going to lose a couple toes. You know, your toe and your foot might just come off, bro.
Yeah.
These wheels cut, man.
Not to mention, I mean, especially guys working in the roof. Like, I've had numerous stuff come out of the roof.
If you're in the roof, man, my advice to you is to stay clipped in. You know, I've heard of a couple arenas with accidents and stuff. Arenas that provide fall protection. So there's no reason that you shouldn't be. So, you know, for all those upriggers out there, man, I know your skills are high. You're confident. You're a good climber. But don't take things for granted, man. You know, stay tagged in.
Yeah.
Stay clipped in. That's we got this for a reason, bro. Or get your harness on, get your clip in, and 100% tie off all the time, and make your passes right. That way you go home to your families.
Yeah.
That shit, one bad slip, you're gone, man.
I know a few people I've lost. And, you know, one thing I think that's kind of plaguing our industry a little bit, and maybe more on the touring side, is suicide's a big deal, dude. Because I think, you know, you're kind of on that ultimate high. You're riding that wave, and I kind of talked about this in some other podcasts and stuff, but, like, it's something I like to shed a light on. Like, if you're having problems, like, because in our industry, you're not really supposed to have any problems, right? You're just supposed to show up.
To go up.
Right.
Yeah, just go.
And, I think that, you know, especially during the pandemic, man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I know a few people.
Times are tough, man.
Yeah.
Our business completely went away.
It's something that I never thought would stop. You know, like, even
Entertainment.
we went through the recession in 2008, and everybody was like, "Oh, I don't know if people are gonna."
Man.
Actually, the industry picked up because people would spend money on a concert ticket because
enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
you know, you get
it
to
took
maybe
them out of their moment for a minute or whatever, right?
You know, leave the moment for a little and smile and have a good time, which is something It's awesome that we get to put things together to make people smile and are happy like that. You know, all the magic, obviously, I say goes to talent. You know, thanks to them for making the music. Thanks to them for doing their rehearsal and coming up with these great songs and projects and stuff that gives us the opportunity to put it together.
Yeah, and sharing special moments with special people, right?
Yeah,
like, I'm so fortunate, man. I got to go to a bare knuckle boxing match the other night with some friends, and
hell yeah.
You know, through the podcast, I've gotten to know a bunch of fighters, and they were all there, and like people I hadn't met, and there were some iconic people, and there's new people I met, and
yeah, you showed me the video, like, man. Conor McGregor's out there, bro. He's a beast.
Yeah, that dude's crazy, man.
Shout out to him,
hype man.
Yeah.
We were watching some of his videos the other day. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, he's the iconic, the 2-time champ.
I'm double champ. I do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Dude, man.
But being around some of those guys, but actually going as a spectator, man, and, like, being there in the moment, like, that's something I'll never forget, you know? Like, and I grew up kind of going to, like, punk rock shows, but that's something that I take for granted now. It's like, I won't go to a concert unless I have passes and my kids want to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going with the punters, dude. Like, I can't do it. Not that
it's funny.
Not
now
that
when
I'm
I go
better
to shows,
than anybody. It's just
of
like,
course.
That's the best way I know how to experience it, you know?
I go to shows now and stuff, man. Even the other day, I just took my little girls to it was a Disney on Ice.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't even find myself looking at the show, you know? I'm like looking at the rig, and I'm just looking at things, and I'm like, wow, how does that work? Oh, that's kind of cool right there, bro. And
that's
like,
dangerous.
I'm always like focused on something else, man. My girl's like, what are you looking at? I'm like, oh, no, look over there. That light is in focus. Look at that right there. That looks a little hockey. I just start looking
Picking
at
it
the
apart
rig and shit, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's funny, because I'll find myself doing the same thing, mainly because I'm enamored by it, you know? Like, but
that's the details, you know? So that's why, like, we always, like, really, like
paying attention to the details.
You want to look at the show you hung, man, and make sure everything's nice and clean.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 100%. And it's hard to, I guess, to really enjoy something, you know, after you've done a gig at the pyramids, right? Because how jacked are the bands then? Because there's different levels to it too. It's
but like I said, it's always exciting, man. It's like,
Yeah.
even the little shows are just as cool. It's just putting something together that bring people together, and everyone's having a good time, and people are laughing and enjoying it, and on to the next show.
Yeah, and I mean, the hat goes off to the people that actually buy tickets and go to concerts,
100%.
because that's what employs
Fans,
you, me,
man, yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So
The fans, everyone out there. And
That's
that's
pretty
why I like
incredible.
the bands, the bands making these great music, these great things that bring these people, they'll track them,
yeah,
bring them over, entertain them, put on a good show for them.
even if it's a fight or something too.
Well, yeah, 100%.
It's a pretty cool industry.
There's so
And I've
many
been so
types.
fortunate. It's what's bought me a house. It's why my kids
Very nice.
have clothes on their back, and
It's definitely given me a great opportunity to provide for me and my family.
yeah, that's incredible.
With not a high school like not a doctor's degree or anything. You know what I mean? Like I got my high school diploma, but
Right.
went to college a couple years, and that's it. And just really working, man. I got all my experience in the field. Started when I was 18.
Yeah, it's kind of. I guess that would be something that I would take away if anybody's younger listening to this and wants to get into it. There's kind of some like bullshit schools out there, unless you're going to be on the nerd side of things, like if you want to be a programmer, or whatever, right? Like you can invest in.
I know I know programmers that are self-taught too, man.
Yeah,
badass. You know what I mean? I think a lot of this is experience on the field.
Yeah,
Like the more shows you do, the more situations you run into, the more solutions you come up with. It just evolves you into being better in this business.
Yeah, you kind of learn how to cut those little corners,
Which is why I'm so happy, man, to have the opportunity to work with a team back home in Miami. We didn't stop working. It was work every day. We're doing 3, 4, 5 shows a week.
Right.
If it's not a hotel ballroom, it's an arena, it's an amphitheater, it's a theater. It's just a lot of different places.
That's pretty
doing
unheard
different
of.
shows. Yeah, did a little bit of
I didn't really think about that.
Systems.
Like those spots like
theaters
Madison
and
Square
stuff.
Garden or something, they just don't
So
stop.
cool.
You
What
know,
a great,
like,
of course not. Those guys are badass over there, man. That's
Yeah.
a really good team over there. They know what they're doing. They execute the job to the fullest. They're a good team.
And they'll bust your balls when you come in,
100%.
right?
You
You're
better
going to
know what
have
the
a
fuck
good
you're doing.
time or you're going to hate your day. But it
100%.
depends on how thick your skin is.
If you don't know what you're doing, man, don't go there acting like you do. And which is what helped me, man. One of my first tours was Carlos Vives, Colombian.
Okay.
And what saved me was I was the local lead in American Airlines, and the leads from Madison Square Garden would come through. And not only the leads, they had a top team that went around doing big award shows, and they would come to American Airlines a lot. So it gave me the opportunity to meet them. So, man, I get on this tour, and guess what? Madison Square Garden is on my itinerary. So my boss is already, production manager and stage manager. Everybody's already telling guys, listen, when you go over there, have your shit right. Because these guys are not really trying to waste time.
Eat you up.
They're going to fucking eat you alive if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Especially if they don't recognize your face.
Yeah. So, man, I show up, man, and I want to say my buddy, man, he was good to me. I treated him good in my house. And I showed up, and I'm like, bro, this is the show. Like, what the fuck do I do here, bro, to be on the good side with you guys? Like, first of all, you know what I'm saying? And then, man, he just gave me the ropes, man. He's like, listen, just you mark your floor out, man, and just give us some time. If we got any questions, we're gonna come to you. And other than that, just pretty much just give us space, because we take care of shit around here. You tell us exactly what you need, and that's what we're gonna do. And I was straight up, man. I was like, listen, bro, I'm not too experienced with this rig right now. This is the first time that we're putting it up. There's a couple kinks, couple cables that we need to work out, some stuff that we might move when we hang. And he's like, man, no problem. No problem. And they were really easy going with me, bro. I was fucking, thank you guys, man. Thank you all at the Madison Square Garden for hanging that show and not hanging me, bro. But they're good squad out there, bro. Good
Some
squad.
of my funnest moments have been in that building.
Bad
man.
motherfuckers over there. Man.
I've laughed till I've cried there. I'll put some one-liners, like.
They're ball busters, man.
Yeah, they are.
They're professional ball busters.
I was doing a gig in Central Park, and there was this younger video guy that was like building a wall or something, and he didn't understand the culture or he was a very micromanaging type person, and that doesn't go over well there. And
that's not the building where it's your way or the highway.
Right.
Because you're gonna be on that highway pretty quick.
And one of my favorite lines from there is that this guy just walked away from him, right? He was just like, I'm not listening to this kid anymore. Like he had probably 20 years on this kid. The kid was like micromanaging. So he's like, he went and took a coffee break or whatever, right? So he comes back. Yeah. And the guy just starts laying into him. He's like, where'd you go? You just disappeared on me. He's like, no, I didn't. I just magically appeared. So that's
funny,
that
bro.
type of attitude, and it goes much deeper than that. There's some. I love watching him eat other people up, not myself.
I've seen some get chewed up,
and luckily I've never been on that side of it.
So they have like you set your show up, and then they have it's just like lights out, like dark time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Nobody can work.
Nobody, bro. Yeah. So we're there, man, and this show's up, and it's dark time, and this dude is literally running just like a piece of fiber cable, dude. They rattled him.
They'll throw your ass out the building.
And not only that, but they fined the tour also for working during that time.
Yeah,
because it was very, very, very it was warned that because they go through all departments and they give you you're not ready, then that's fine. We'll come back. But when you say you're 100% ready, man, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They turn the lights off and it's dark time and it's.
And I never really understood that at first, but that's a safety thing.
It's man.
Right. So if anything falls or
no one's working just like that by themselves.
Right.
You got the whole team there. You got eyes there. You got people to back you up. If you miss something, safety, man, which is just
it should be important first thing. And foremost. Yeah.
Most important thing that we do because we work with a lot of people that is their first day. Or their third day, and you really want to look out for these people. They're out there trying to make a living, trying to provide for themselves, and maybe they put their finger in the wrong spot, but because they're not aware, they don't know, they're not, this is their third show,
right?
And man, it's really
can change somebody's life.
It's not your fault, but I want to say as a department lead, it's up to you. Really to look out for these pinch points, look out for these areas where maybe you've seen other people get hurt or where your experience tells you that people can get hurt. Yeah. And just be there and try to back them up. Like, hey, man, watch your step. Watch where you put your hands. Don't put your hands there. Man, I'll tell you, doing this for 20 years, pretty much traveling. You know how many times I'm sure you have, bro, tell somebody, hey, man, move your hand. And, dude, 1 minute later, something just boom. And that could have, easily, bro, lost a couple fingers there, man.
Yeah.
So I really, really, just pay attention to detail with who I'm working with.
This might sound like bullshit or not, but I get, a sixth sense or,
you develop that, I guess, man, just working this.
Occasionally, and when I was younger, not so much, but now even to the point where, if I'm standing there talking to somebody, which happens, you get stopped, the client wants to talk to you or whatever. I always look up and see what's above me to see if anybody's working.
Absolutely.
And I stay, this is fucked up, but I'll stand in open areas. So if something were to fall,
it ain't on you,
I know
bro.
that I don't have to run out of this corner or whatever, right? Or I got I always have an exit plan.
Close my eyes and pray real quick. Fuck.
Because some of these shows are wall to wall. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna run away from 100.
And they only get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's
I
wild.
when I first started, man, like as an uprigger, our shows were 50, 60 points.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't
That's nothing now.
I mean,
Now sheds are 50
70
or 60
points was a
yeah.
show. Yeah. Now, dude, it's just like, 150 plus,
Right.
125 easy. Your average show is 100, 130 points.
And for anybody listening to this, I apologize for explaining this if you're a rigger or somebody in the industry, but
the terms too. Hey man, sorry,
but we got a lot of people that listen to these podcasts for this reason to kind of learn a little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And so points are
basically a hoist. It's the motors that pick the systems up. These are all chains. They're
each one of them have to be fastened to some sort of structural integrity of the
correct,
building.
Correct. Which
Wrapped
is usually
properly.
all engineered, and then the lead rigger, man, is really need to be dialed in with engineering and where they hang these things, where they're putting these loads at.
Right,
making sure
like
that
working with the building, making sure that the
100%.
roofs can handle it, right?
Yeah, well,
So like some
making
of
sure
these
that
shows,
what they're hanging is safe, man. You got kids and family that comes to these shows.
well, like some of these shows that you're doing now are like 600 plus points or something, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you leaving in a couple days to go do something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool show that we're gonna do for Ford.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a big arch video wall. So that actually it's a ground structure, so it's not so much of like points and motors and stuff, So just gonna be building a lot of steel, a lot of ballasts are being used to counterweight what we're hanging, and
So to get into the technical side of rigging and like you being a house guy and building bridles, there's like some serious math that goes on behind that.
Yeah.
It's not
well, there's
like
formulas.
this is not shit that they
There's
teach you in
formulas.
high school.
No,
This is shit
absolutely
that they
not.
teach you in college.
Yeah,
And
there's formulas.
you and I didn't go to college. I don't think that you did, right?
Nah, man. I put in. I did about a year.
Wow.
Did about a year in community college, but not that I was paying attention.
Right. They weren't teaching you these math equations to
Absolutely
make
not.
this shit work, right?
Nah, I learned all this on the field.
Yeah.
With great people that passed it down to me. A lot of stuff I went and did homework and did some research, but a lot of this comes from the previous head rigger. So I would show up early. My calls that say 8 a.m., I'd be there at 7 or 6:30 a.m. because that's when the floor is getting marked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd show up early and just get with the lead rigger and then, just learn the height of the building, learn the span of the beams, learn how to get these formulas to getting my points to land where they need to land, man, and making sure I apply it properly and safely. And
If you think about it, it's amazing, man.
And I just learned by working with great people, man.
Yeah.
Good people that knew what they were doing, and it's a pass down. You kind of get under their wing, they take you under their wing, and they just fucking
Now,
school you in the game, bro.
rigging some of the Super Bowl, like you just worked on this year's Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
man.
rigging something like that has all this crazy Tate automation involved with it, and hanging the PA over the crowd, and then
a lot of
not
safeties
to mention
going
you're
into
like
that.
now you're not hanging something at 100 feet, right, where you have to clip in a chain or a motor or something like that.
Yeah.
You're talking 300 feet in some of these stadiums.
Yeah.
Like if
Hey,
you
shout
get
out
the-
to Tate, man. Good company.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of top dogs in there. Their engineering, their designs are top notch. It's a great company to work with, and they were a great team for us to work with, man. They come up with great ideas on how to install these platforms. With a lot of that all of that was automation.
There's so many incredible
No,
companies
man.
out there, man,
There
that
is,
are
man.
in
Props.
this industry that and
Props to
Tate
everyone,
is
man,
definitely
that's
one
out
of them
there
for sure. Like,
hustling and doing cool shit, man.
yeah.
Putting stuff together and
But like getting into is that really the next level? I mean,
automation is for me is always kind of the coolest shit.
Yeah,
man,
that's
because
wild.
it's moving.
right?
It's moving.
it's hanging and moving at the same time.
It's fucking super cool, man. When you see something like flying and floating, and the rest of the crowd is just wondering how the fuck is this happening,
Right.
and then you just got a good computer software company that you're running with, and you're doing your automation, you're doing your thing, and it's just fucking looking badass, bro.
Yeah. And then the whole next level of having an actual performer on it, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the like most nerve-wracking thing I've had to deal with. Like when you have Lady Gaga coming out of the roof and she has to land onto a 2x2 platform, that's got to be perfectly placed.
You better nail that cue, bro.
Yeah, whether you're the guy that's got the platform or the guy that's buckling or performance harness or whatever, right? Like, holy shit. Yeah, better hope everything works.
A lot of planning goes into this thing, man.
A lot of rehearsal.
A lot of rehearsals. A lot of tweaking and fixing and cue to cue with the artists and all departments that are making this move happen. And
that's awesome, man.
Pretty fucking cool.
Dude, this has been super fun. I want to be respectful of your time, man. We got some stuff to do tonight. We're going to have some fun.
Yes, sir.
Maybe going to, catch a basketball game or hang out for a minute. So definitely. I hope you have a few minutes to do that.
Definitely. Thank you, man.
But dude, this has been super rad. I'm super glad that I'm down this way and I get to hang out with you. And it's cool that we recorded this in your home state.
Yes, sir.
And it's not very often that
maybe we get to do it in your home state, man.
I'd love to have you in the studio, man, because
that'd be super
it's
cool.
Next level. It's one thing to set up on the road and you got to kind of figure out how to do it and where to do it, and the sound's not always like perfect, but
you did a good job here, man. You got a good setup, bro. Good mobile setup.
And I really enjoy like spending this time. So like I'll do one with you anytime, bro. Anytime 100%. You want to do this again or whatever, like let's do it, man. It won't all be about work next time, right?
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Next time, man. This has been awesome. We've been at it over an hour and a half, believe it or not. Yeah.
Bro, that's super cool,
so it goes
man.
by super quick. Wow. Yeah, so it's getting late. But so I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time. Bobby. And always love you, brother. If you ever need anything, I'm here
Same
for
here,
you.
Bro. Let's keep kicking ass, man.
Anything you want to you got any websites or companies you want to plug or
I really don't,
anything,
man.
Like Instagram or anything like that?
Nah.
Like you're kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah, man. Just shout out to everybody, that's out there, man, watching the podcast, man, and just, just checking out different things, bro. Shout out to everybody that's doing this business, man. Shout out to the people that come to these shows. Shout out, bro. Thanks everyone for coming together and so that way we can all continue to just do cool things together, bro.
That's awesome, man. I love your outlook, cool, bro. And it's honestly an honor. Like I've had a lot of people on. I've had some heavy hitters on, but like
yeah, you got some cool podcasts, man. I've checked out a couple, bro. This
is cool. This means a lot to me. Like having my personal friends on and like sharing what they do. What you've done is badass, dude. And like, I love having you guys, man. It means a lot to me. So I appreciate you doing this for me. So
fuck yeah, bro.
Thank
Shots
you, brother.
out, man.
All right.
Yo, thanks everyone for watching, man. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. Also, if you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.